Hello. Let's just start. I'm just going to get this on. I don't think it will be staying for long, by the way. Just someone comes into the live chat. I was supposed to get online a little bit earlier, but I couldn't. Just have to check on the audio and see if everything is fine. Going to try and check if everything is fine. I'm so sorry. Um, okay, let me see if the audio is the same that I want it to be. Mm, okay, the camera is fine. The audio is incorrect.
Okay, I think that's better. Okay. hmm Yes, I think that's better. I think that's better. Okay, so I just wanted to come here for a little bit. I'm so sorry that um I haven't been doing lots of things on my channel. It's not exactly a bed of roses for me here. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what's going on. So at the moment, since today, I am completely in quarantine. And it's not because I have the coronavirus, by the way. It's not that. It's because our company, I mean, the place where I'm working in, they decided to move us. So, or they decided to let us go, by the way. We were on Monday. Yes, on Monday. We were still working, right? We were still working um, in the office physically, and then on Tuesday things were start unveiling. I mean, it was starting on Monday, to be honest, but it was like, okay, the whole city, you know, mostly all of the people that were normally working should be working at home, and we have we called here the state of this sorry state of the exception, or the exception rule, which is like when you are in war with someone and you have to stay at home from 9 p.m. until 5 p.m. So that's how it's been on Tuesday. However, um, there were lots of companies that weren't working, and the most important thing here is that on Tuesday, when I went to work, it was so funny because there wasn't anyone going to work. Only there were, let's say, doctors and certain other people from the state companies, I guess, or facilities that are still working and they have permission to go. And I even had problems here at home because they didn't want me to go. So on Tuesday, I went to work. Everyone was really scared. There have been so many rumors that it wasn't going to be easy for us to stay there at work. And that last day, I decided to go like a couple of times to the pharmacy. And I also went to the gas station to grab a couple of things. But you could tell that everyone was afraid of the whole pack of rules that the government is imposing, which I think it's better, right? If you don't understand the rules, it's better to fear them, especially because they have something specific to say or to take care of in this case. And it's better for us not to be out because we are already on a phase 3 of the virus. So it's not only because the I think it's primary patient was contaminated, but not only the secondary, but it's a third type, which is by community. So people are they're just like it trespassed when the primary and the secondary start spreading the virus, right? So they already mentioned that, which is kind of scary. That means that if you go around, there are people that doesn't have any symptoms, and they're still going to be transmitting this virus around. So yes, I was scared. I was scared at that moment. I was scared on Tuesday. I am guessing that sometimes people are not aware. They're just want you to do what you need to do, which is fine, right? But you cannot be playing with someone else's health. So there were lots of social pressure in order to get us from work and to send us home. So now, since today, to starting off today, we will have to. We are working at home, and there are lots of rules now implied. So, in my city is the worst case in the whole country, or what's going on. It has the most amount. I mean, there's a lot of people here, and I think we are like the biggest amount of confirmed cases here in my country. Mm-hmm. So I think we tend right now to be on the spotlight. Let me check. I just saw that. Hey, Nicholas. Hello. How are you, my friend? Let me try to get this link. There you go. If you want to come by the way. So I was just telling, let me put you in. Hello.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, how are you, Nicholas?
I'm all right. I'm going to stay inside for the next couple of weeks, but I'm all right.
Same here. I was just ranting a little bit about what's going on.
Did you say you've got the most cases per capita or something?
Yeah, and here in my city. In my
city. Oh, in your
we
city, okay.
Yeah, in my city.
I misunderstood. I thought you were saying that your country was the worst in the entire world or something. Okay, yeah.
No. It's like my city it has the most. It has the amount of cases that goes beyond what we were expecting, because we have been growing. There have been so many things going on. I mean, going out. I'm sorry, and especially that there is this. How it's in English will be let me search for it. The thing is that they have been calculating how many cases will be until certain time. So they said that if we don't stop people from moving and given them rules to stay at home, we will have around maybe 4,000 to 5,000 cases here in less than a week.
Right.
Right. So,
and
I think that's
I think we're getting projections like that
exactly
here
projections
in Canada. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not shutting down in the same way. Like we've closed our borders to basically everything except trade. But in terms of my city, like I went out to get groceries and things like that. There's no all the stores are open. There's no special directives or anything like that. Just saying, the general advice you hear everywhere.
Well, we have really harsh, let's say, rules because people are being really dumb to go around and just like being in a crowded place and to do parties and to go around just like if it's a vacation, it's just like holidays, is going around. We have these rules that are being applied since I think Monday, and yesterday they placed a new set of rules, and today they set a new set of rules. So the last set of rules that they placed here, they put it here, is that we are first of all, we close all borders, so no one can come in, no one can go out. Right now we are having that in my city. So the only thing that are coming in, let's say, is just food and medicine. That's the only thing that is coming into the city.
Wow.
Yes, and we have this something that is called the exception rule, which is like we are in a war zone, I guess, which implies that we have to stay at home earlier. So right now we cannot go outside our houses since 4 p.m.
After 4 p.m. So it's
so after 4 p.m. we have to stay here at home.
Right. That we call that a curfew.
Okay, so we have right now that kind of rule.
Yeah.
And apart curfew is like this.
CURFUE.
FU, like that. Curfew.
I think it's got an UE at the end. Let's see here.
I haven't.
Oh no, you've got it right.
Word.
You've got it right.
Okay. So that's one set of rules, and the other one is that we cannot. I mean, if we want to go out, like in the normal period of time that we can go out, it will be only to have groceries. I mean, to buy groceries or medicine, or if we're going to take care of the elder, and it has to be by the last digit of the registration plate of your car. So let's say on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and Sundays, you can go with I think it's non-even registration plate number. And on Tuesday, yes, exactly. So on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, you can go with an even one.
And can you just walk anytime or what?
Yes, you can walk.
Oh, okay.
You can walk, and you can go. Let's say that you want to get some groceries for like the local grocery store that you have like close to your home. You can go.
Okay.
That's fine.
That's good.
Yes, the thing is that you cannot go like to crowded places. You shouldn't be like,
I think that rotating license plate thing is a really good idea. It sort of shares the burden, and makes everybody agree.
Yes, I mean, you are just splitting the amount of cars that are outside.
Yeah.
Right?
Nobody has the feeling of, well, I'm just going to go get my groceries because everybody's just going to go get theirs anyway, which I think is kind of the sentiment here.
Yes, I mean, that's what's going on here. But the thing is that people are not respecting. So they're still going out with their cars, even though they have like a different registration number for what the government said, right? And then they are being really upset because police are stopping them, and they are just like crazy. They're just like, how can this be called? They're nervously buying food,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right?
They're hoarding, and
Right.
yeah, they're hoarding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, let's say they're hoarding. But I was just like, it was like a nervous buying stage of
Yeah, the
what they
toilet
are.
paper, it seems to be so strange. Like, I think it must be Freudian or something. I don't
I
understand.
don't.
Go ahead.
I mean, I read that what they said is that we tend to be in this state of mind that we check to see what the other person is doing. So let's say that if the other person is just grabbing toilet paper, we were going to think, okay, we are not in that control. I mean, we don't feel that we are in control. So
Right.
we think that if we don't get that bag of toilet paper, we're going to be screwed, even though it's not for our survival.
Right.
So that's why
I wonder if there was this early on a perception that everybody was getting toilet paper because it's such a big item that you would notice it very quickly. And then
exactly,
people are
that's what
looking
they said
around
as
and-
well.
Yeah, yeah. So everybody sees,
Mhm.
oh, he's got toilet paper. I better get toilet paper, and then it does become a thing.
Exactly, but it's just in your mind. You're seeing that this big package is being taken from your neighbor. I mean, from this neighbor that you have like next to you. Is like, this person is taking this part or this toilet paper. I will have to take it as well, else I'm just going to be screwed, or I'm just going to lose control. So that's how the mind works, and that's how the brain works, supposedly. I don't think that happens to everyone. I am not like scared of losing my toilet paper, by the way. So
Yeah, that does seem like a strange fear.
exactly. But I don't know why it happens, and I don't know if it happens to everyone. I don't think it have had. If it happens to me, at least, I remember that what I thought, the first thing that I have like in my mind when I saw that this virus was set as in a pandemic, I just decided to like, I need to buy things, let's say for like 15 days, and that's it. So I grabbed what I could at that time, and then I came back because I was in fear that my parents were going to go like outside and trying to like do all of the groceries. They're old,
Yeah.
and you need to take care of them first. And if
Yeah,
I can
I'm
move
trying to
around,
take care of my aunt, but she just wants to do everything herself.
yes. And the problem there in Canada is that it seems like the virus loves, being in cold environments. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
there's all kinds of different conflicting ideas about that. Yeah. It seems to have spread most quickly in cold environments, although Russia seems to be really good. The last I checked, Russia was just about untouched.
Yeah, but the thing is that what Russia did is that they closed the borders right away, and they were like, I remember seeing a video on Facebook about how Russia was containing people when they were coming into the airport. Everyone was looking like a laboratory. Like everyone was just like being completely covered, and they were like trying to take care of it, and they will take you to quarantine. But I'm guessing that that's their way.
Well, it
like,
turned out to be really responsible.
Yes, but it's like saying like North Korea doesn't have any case, which is incorrect. They haven't been saying how many cases they have.
Oh, I see.
Right?
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah.
Right. They're like trying to hide, maybe, because they want to show the world that they are in control, but they are not. Right. And they're saying like in North Korea they have like more than 22,000 cases, but we're not counting that at the moment because they are not being explicit on the numbers.
Can you imagine being stuck in a North Korean prison and knowing that this thing is coming? Or maybe not even knowing, but seeing things changing all around you?
I mean, it's the worst thing is to be there and not being able to run away.
Yeah.
That'll be like the worst thing. Yes. And you know that it's going to come to you because it's not that you're safe being in prison. You will have someone that will come with the disease, and then you'll be
Yeah.
then you'll be screwed.
They know prisons are, like, even just American prisons are some of the worst places for catching this. In fact, they're trying to give early release to a bunch of prisoners, and in a few cities, they've announced that they're not going to prosecute any nonviolent crimes. So they just won't do anything about things like vandalism for a while because they don't want to put people in jail.
Well, I don't know if that's good or not, because they will still try to go out and try to do what they want to do.
People are
I don't
going to
know.
be doing vandalism for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. And they will still be, again, going to jail.
No, that's the thing, is they say, like, if a cop sees you doing vandalism, like, I don't
They
know.
won't do anything?
Yeah, that's how it was explained to me. But they won't be arrested, at least. So I don't know if maybe a police officer could sort of get involved and make it more serious and then arrest you for something more serious. But as it stands, according to this announcement in a couple cities that I was looking at, they said they're just not going to prosecute. So they're not going to arrest people for this stuff. I think I'm getting that confused. Let me just double check that.
Well, that will be like a crazy move, to be honest. But in here, I haven't heard any news regarding to people doing vandalism or crimes after all of this was set. Like, all of the rules here were set. The other thing that I wanted to like mention, it's about Italy. At the moment, we are hearing that they're just going to decide which ones are going to be saved or not, because they are already in stage 4 of the virus.
Stage 4?
Yeah. Yeah, the stage 4 of the virus is when you have your health system collapsed already, or almost collapsed. So they will have to decide whether or not they will be saving people or not. Right? So you'll have to make a decision. You're going to provide medicine to a 90-year-old man, or you're going to provide medicine to a 70 or to a 60-year-old man. So those kinds of decisions. And because they are still like going through that stage, they're also asking for people that are already retired to come back to work.
Right. Yeah, I heard about that in Canada too.
Yes. So you are actually asking people that are in the vulnerable state to go back.
There's so many things that they're doing that show they are really scared about this, and that's what really frightens me the most. Is they are really terrified of this virus. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Like 9/11 wasn't this bad.
No, I don't think so. I think this is like even worse. But I don't know if we are doing it like even worse because people are really dumb, because they don't care about anything. I was just like watching another video on Facebook, just listening to people saying, well, I really don't care. I think you're just taking this too far. I just came here. I think they just went to Europe or somewhere to just spend the holidays. But they were just like, I don't know, I just came here. I'm just like really young. I'm 21 and I really want to enjoy. I came here to drink and to get wasted. But anyways, I'm just going to make the best out of it. I'm still going to like try to get wasted on the streets and see if I can get more like people around just to have fun.
Yeah. I think that a big part of it is people just haven't seen this sort of thing before. And so if this were just a minor cold or something, that sort of behavior would make a lot more sense. It's sort of like in cities that you never see snow. if you get a little bit of snow, then there's a ton of car crashes. Where in a city that often gets snow, the first snowfall is bad, but it's not a disaster because people are used to it. They know how to
Yeah,
change.
they already know exactly. Exactly. But the thing is that the government is saying what you should do. I mean, if they're saying stay at home, do this, do that, and they're still going against it.
Well, they've been telling us a lot of things for years that we know are not true. So it's hard to believe them. And the other thing is that this is so stressful that it's easier to come up with a reason not to believe them, right?
Yes, but I mean, being stressed and not following the rules for someone that is supposedly on top and that they know what they need to, I mean, they have to command something, and they're commanding us to do, like, to stay at home and not to spread the virus. Or we're just like doing the whole opposite. We're just like going out and then just like, hey, nothing is happening, everything is fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the
that's
really
being
scary thing.
reckless.
That's the really scary thing about this is that there's such transmission before you're symptomatic. That's the really scary thing. It actually reminds me of that. Did you ever see Contagion, the movie Contagion?
It was with what's this?
There's a ton of well-known actors in that one.
Yes, exactly. It had Jude Law as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was the one. He was the one that had the blog, and he was saying that he had the virus, and that he had the cure and stuff like that. I think it
right.
was.
Yeah. And
Yeah. I
that
saw
was a
that
weird
meme.
role for him because he's always such a stud, and in that one, it made him purposely kind of ugly. Yeah, it was interesting to see him like that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that movie a couple of times. I mean, before all of this, by the way, I thought it was a really good movie.
15 years probably.
I think it was a really good movie, but
Yeah.
the thing is that it's so similar to what happened here. It's so similar.
That's the thing is people are saying that it was a really well researched movie. So a lot of films, it's just some guy like me sitting home and thinking about it. But some people like will actually talk to these experts like in dealing with epidemics and pandemics and find out what would actually happen. And so they really showed us what would actually happen.
Yes, exactly. And it's almost what's going on here. Almost.
Yeah.
Which is scary. It's really scary. So how many deaths are there in Canada at the moment? Or how many confirmed cases?
Well, that's the other problem. Just a second. I think we only have 2 deaths in Canada right now. But we like our reportings is shooting up, but it's not shooting up as fast as it should be. It's going to go way up in the next few days.
Okay, you have already 621 confirmed cases. And the probable one are 35. They're not saying exactly.
Well, I know I
nine
was reading
people.
yesterday.
9 people have died.
9 people now. Wow. So that's I think that's 7 people since I read about it yesterday.
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's a lot, right? So,
well, the really scary thing is that they refuse to test people that don't have a travel history, and they've done this in every single country where they refuse to test people unless they're in the hospital or they have a travel history, and then they find out that it's like everywhere because somebody ends up in the hospital that doesn't have a travel history, and then they test the general population and they're like, oh wow, it's everywhere. It's like,
yes, exactly. I mean, that's what they call it. That's like the phase 3 of the virus, because it's already been like in a community. It's not. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to do with the primary patient or the secondary patient. It's already been spread.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad here, I think. Uh,
Well, the good thing for you there, I think right now, are you getting? No, you're getting out of the cold right now. Or you're getting out of the cold
that's right.
season, right? Of the
Yeah,
winter season,
yeah.
right?
Either today or tomorrow or something like that is spring, so it's going to be warming up.
Okay. Okay, so that means that it's going to be bad. It's going to start being bad because if
Well,
you were
I
like in
actually,
the
I think the reason why it's going to be bad is actually because I think so many people already have it. Like I can tell you that like I ride the bus to work, and
Mhm.
I people it's flu season and people have been coughing more than usual for the past several weeks. And as I was hearing more about this in the news and them not testing for it in places like Italy, I looked into how they were testing for it here, and they just don't test you. Like
Yeah,
there's
because the test is really, well, for us at least, is it's really expensive. They're charging as much as $120
oh okay, yeah, yeah.
for that.
The one that they had was not a pleasant one to take. It's one where they take a tube and they push it way back to the back of your nostril. Like they shove it up your
Oh,
nose and it goes to the back of your throat. Yeah. Um, and so that one wasn't nice. Now they're testing a swab one, but the way they're talking about it, they haven't said this, but just the way they're talking about it, I suspect it's not as accurate. Because they're kind of iffy about whether or not they should be switching over to this. They're like, we've tested these in the public and they seem to be working.
okay.
Yeah.
Terrible. I mean, right now we do have like I think it's the one that doesn't have any cost, like it's for free, but it will be because you are close to a primary subject or secondary one. But I think they're doing it by pressure, for what I have heard. So it's not because they want to do it, but because they don't have enough tests. Else you will have to go to a private one, and it will be costing you that amount. Um, and that's it. I mean, else you'll be like waiting until someone will come by and will tell you um, to have like an appointment to get that test done.
Yeah,
So
I'm kind of thinking that's what's going to happen. Like after this washes through a little bit more, I bet you at some point I'm going to get somebody at my door saying, "Hey, we need you to take this swab."
mhm.
Door to door, just asking everybody, and based on census, we know you live here.
Well, not in here, by the way. We're not going to have that. I
No.
mean, no, not in here. I mean, if we, as I said, if I stayed here at home with my family and we don't tend to move, and at least we stay here like for 15 days, maybe it's not going to come to us because we don't tend to we don't need to go outside to do things right now. We have almost everything covered. But for people that are going out, and even if they just like cross and go to the supermarket and someone has the virus, no one from the healthcare system will be coming by, will be knocking your door saying, hey, you need to get the test, right? And they don't even know exactly how many people have been like in contact with
Yeah,
the ones that have the virus now.
when I'm talking about people going door to door, I'm actually thinking this will be after the pandemic's over. That in a couple months, because I think they're going to be very
You
curious
think
about
that
how
this
many
will be
people got
done
this.
in a couple of months?
Well, yeah, one way or another.
You think?
I think the big hump will be over in a couple of months, one way or another.
You think?
Yeah, you see the exponential growth on this stuff. It's going pretty quickly.
It is, but we have to reach a peak, we say. Only China have done that. And
I'm not
because
even
they're
sure. Do you think China really reached a peak? I'm wondering about that because they
they
lied time and time
yes,
again about this virus.
yes, but at least they're saying that they are like sending people home already because they're already recovered from the coronavirus. But let's say that they're lying. Let's say that they're lying. So that means that they haven't even got that peak.
I
right?
don't know.
Of their
I
confirmed
just
cases.
the thing is that China has specifically hidden evidence and lied about this exact case so many times over the last 3 months that trusting them on this is really a far shot. And I just watched a video of 3 Chinese people being dragged into quarantine, and I can tell you those 3 people certainly didn't think that they were being helped.
Yes, exactly. But for instance, let's say that they are lying again. So this from them, I mean, from the start, it goes around December, starting of December of 2019, right? So it's about 4 months already, right? For them. Let's say that they haven't reached that peak. And you're saying in 2 months. I
Yeah,
don't
because
think,
I think it'll spread differently here. I think it's already everywhere here. Whereas I think, honestly, I suspect that it spread a bunch and then
Mhm.
it started coming in from other places. I think they locked down and it probably started coming from other places. But I'm just speculating at this point. I have no data backing this up. I'm just saying I don't trust China.
Yes, but that's the thing. I mean, let's say that you will have the peak around 6 months, and only there we will still be
But there's
seeing different countries
yeah, but
getting into their peaks.
maybe there's like different pockets of peaks that are happening in China. There's so many people there. There's so many isolated, like compact cities. I could really see this. Like we think of China as one place, but I think you could also think of it as like, sort of like a little Europe.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But that's the thing. I mean, they haven't got the peak. We haven't even got the peak yet as well. So I think it will be taken like at least this year to get out of this disease. And we are jumping into the other um, disease that I don't know if you have heard about, the H5N6, I think.
What? I haven't heard of
You
that
haven't
one. No.
you haven't heard about
No,
that
no.
one? Well, yes, we are starting on that on China again, and I think the Philippines as well. They said that they can be transmitted to human. It's the aviar flu. I
Oh,
think
it's
that's
the
how it is.
avian flu. Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
it's not a new thing. Okay.
No, it's not a new thing, but I think it's like a new uh, spread. It's not the H1N1, but it's already the H5N6,
Right.
right? So they have already. I think they have like 2 cases already that are already dead. I think I don't know exactly what is going on, but we are still haven't even passed this one, and we have already a new one. So
Well, but this new one is not a coronavirus, right? You said
no.
H5N6 or what did you say?
Yes, is H5N6 like this?
Okay, well thank God it's not a coronavirus because that would really scare me for other reasons.
Well, we actually don't know if there is already one coming out. So that's what I'm telling you. Like, just check on the news because it says like in the middle of the coronavirus, um, this one reappeared. It's in the Philippines. In the Philippines.
And it's killed a bunch of birds in a poultry farm in China's
Yes.
Sichuan province.
Yes, exactly. 1,500. I think they were they were killed. They had the virus and they have to kill them all, I think. But you see, we have another virus.
25,000 birds were called total in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
A 7-mile zone constricting poultry movement was also established. Oh wow! This
So
stuff this is New World Order stuff. It's scary.
You see, we have another one coming in.
Well, that one isn't scaring me as much because apparently the first cases were in 2014. So seems like that one works differently. The thing that really scares me about this one is that you're so asymptomatic for so long, and I really am not convinced that people are getting over this in the way that people think they are. I think that they're getting over the flu symptoms, but I'm worried about what's still going on.
Yeah. Oh, especially now that they are saying that even if you get recovered, you have to still be in quarantine for 15 more days.
Yeah, and somebody was like, well, maybe add a couple days to that. I heard a medical expert say that. I think it was a Canadian medical expert. Like, I'm just gonna say personally, maybe add a couple days to that. And it's like, oh, just tell us a number. We want to know.
Exactly. It's like, well, maybe you can just like be in quarantine as much as possible, and then because and that's the worst thing. That means that the virus is not being killed. I mean, after that time, it's starting to live with you. Like you're starting to be a carrier for this virus.
Yeah.
Right? Which is even scarier. What's going to happen with you and that virus in you? They haven't even done like a proper investigation of what's going on. And that's scary. That's really scary.
But something that I'm really pleased about is that I heard on a few sort of right-leaning American shows today talk about once this is all sorted out, that China will have to pay for this, that they're gonna make sure that this sort of thing doesn't happen again, which makes me feel a lot better.
How?
Oh, well, this was a combination of laws that I think are probably, like the World Health Organization suggested years ago, that they stop these wildlife markets because they're going to have these sorts of outbreaks. And then
but the thing is that
Go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing is that this market was illegal.
It was illegal?
It was illegal
in
China.
I keep hearing that it was legal. Okay.
No, I mean, the market was legal, but they were selling inside illegal species to be sold.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Okay.
So one of them was the one that we are suffering from, which is the pangolin. So they said that this virus came from the pangolin. Right? Because I think
are you saying penguin, like the bird?
Pangolin, yes. No, it's
the birds that swim around in the South Pole.
Wait, pangolin, like this. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong.
No. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I've just never heard of this thing.
And supposedly the SARS came from a cat, and the MERS came from a camel. So this one. And that it didn't came from the bat; it came from the pangolin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think you're saying it wrong. I've just never heard of it. I would have called this an armadillo, I think, but I don't know if.
It's also called an armadillo, but but it can be also called a pangolin.
Yeah, I guess
so. So this is an illegal animal to be sold and like for food, and. Even they can like making it harsh. I mean, make the laws and to enforce laws, they will still be selling this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
People,
that's right. Yeah.
Right? If they're not going to do it in Wuhan, they're going to do it in other places. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that there's certain ways that you could enforce it, but you're right. People are always going to be desperate because a lot of people are selling these things just to eat. Exactly. And it can be this animal. I mean, they can enforce the law in this animal, or just to not to sell any special species. But who knows? I've just heard, and I've seen some videos about these wildlife markets being extremely unhygienic. Like
it's because they're illegal, because they are not like in a proper place where they can. Do all this sanitary thing.
Do you know if ferrets are legal to sell there? Because I think I saw, I forget who the medical expert was. He was giving a talk, and he showed this video of these chicken cages on top of these ferret cages, and he explained that he was some sort of a virologist, and he explained if you wanted to develop a culture and really see it take off, then you should put these two animals together, because they will pass back these viruses and bacteria, and then they'll pass it on to human beings. He said this would be like the ideal situation, and I don't think those things were illegal. So from what I was hearing, just the way that those markets are set up in general, they're a huge health hazard, and that's what I heard the World Health Organization talking about. But yeah, like that's one issue. But we would have done a lot better if China had been honest about their numbers, and if they hadn't tried to suppress people in their medical community that tried to sound the warning. And so if there aren't consequences to a government when they do that sort of thing, then all governments will do that sort of thing, so I'm very pleased.
It's just the same. It's just the same in Russia. They're trying to, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but they are trying to be in control of the situation. But I think they just lost it. So that's why they have to say it to the world. Right. I'm guessing that they were just like, yeah, this is just like a normal flu and we're going to control it. And that's why they were I think they knew this around the end of November. And then at the end of December, I'm sorry, when everything just got lost, like everyone just getting the disease and it was just getting out of hand. That's why they have to say it. Because it's going to be widely spread. And that's why they have to say it. That's it.
Right. But like I don't think other countries have done that. Like Italy didn't do that, things like that. So I see a major problem, and I see it affecting these other countries' outbreak. I understand that fascists are going to fascist, but there needs to be repercussions, I think.
Yes, of course, but I don't think this will be the last thing that we are going to hear about these crazy viruses, because that's the problem in Asia. They tend to eat specific species that are still wild for us. They haven't been tamed and they are still in the wild. And they do have different wild viruses. So, and especially because they don't tend to cook their food as much. And I think that's also a problem. That's also a problem, right? So they don't tend to cook the food. So they tend to eat it raw at a certain point.
Oh, wow.
So
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, of course. If you check on how they do for instance, well, this is not that far. I mean, well, it's a little bit far from Asia, but for instance, in Poland, they tend to eat raw meat.
I also didn't know that.
Right? So that's like the main dish. And they usually put an egg, like a raw egg as well. So it's like a raw burger. That's for Poland. Yes, that's for Poland. I know because I have a Polish friend that's living in the States, and I went with her to a Polish restaurant, and they were eating that. So that's why I know. And from the Chinese and the Japanese, they tend to eat mostly some things raw, right?
Well,
good
sushi
things.
And sashimi I've known about, but all these other things, like any Chinese recipes that I know, usually boil the meat before you even fry it.
Yes, exactly. But in certain parts from the Chinese, like they have raw food.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what kind of foods they're eating like that. The only things that I know that I like to eat from the Chinese cuisine are like they're like this I forgot. I love those. They're like white and inside they have lots of meat. I just forgotten the name. Jesus. Dumplings. Yes. Dumplings. And that's the only thing that I like from their cuisine. And that's it. And how they put spices in their meat. And that's it.
Yeah, I really like that too. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think that it's because they are not cooking as much as they have to. mean, the meat that they are taking from these wild animals. But yeah, anyways, what we were talking about before is that we still don't have a peak in any country. And we are almost 4 months, 5 months since the spread starts. So I don't think this will be done in a couple of months. Maybe if you are in complete quarantine, then you'll actually see if the cases are going down. But if it doesn't, then you'll still be in quarantine 2 or 3 more months to be able to stop the virus.
My gosh, I thought that Italy had already peaked.
That's the thing. We don't know. You need to check if the cases are like stopping or they're still growing. For instance, in Italy, even they have already like the quarantine state, the cases are still growing. I mean, they're still having more cases by the day. How many cases? I think they have already more deaths than China, supposedly. Let me check. So it's about 2,500 deaths, supposedly. And confirmed cases, 31,506 cases. Which is not as much as what China had. But it's still a lot for a small country.
Mm-hmm.
What? This is so crazy. I'm just taking one of the. I'm just going to put it just for a laugh. I'm just going to put it here. I was checking. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's like Al Jazeera. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was checking on the map that they have here that says territories with confirmed cases of COVID-19. And of course, China, it has the most, they have the biggest amount of confirmed cases. But if you check on my country, it has 37,111. The hell is wrong with this?
Yeah, I don't trust Al Jazeera at all. I did look at their website the other day, and I looked at another website too that they had completely wrong numbers. Al Jazeera is run by Qatar. Is that Qatar? What's the name of that country?
Which one?
Qatar.
Qatar. Yeah, okay.
So that's basically the propaganda arm of Qatar. So you can expect them not to give you accurate information about anything in the West.
Wow, because that is not well informed. We don't have more cases than Italy, for sure.
Yeah. If you look at some of the other numbers for the other countries, you'll see other things that are wrong as well. Probably get some clicks though.
Yeah, I guess. But we don't tend to watch this kind of news. I'm just checking it because I'm checking it in English, or I'm asking to check it in English. But this is funny. I hope that we don't get into this state, by the way, to have 37,000 confirmed cases. We're just a really small country. We shouldn't be having that amount.
Oh, good luck.
Yes, good luck to you, because you have like a big country. You will have that kind of numbers.
I'm lucky that where I am, we're pretty spread out, but Yeah, I think this thing got spread through pretty early.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that if you take care of yourself, you don't go to crowded places, you clean your hands and don't put your hands on your face, you'll be just fine.
Yeah, well, they were saying something. There's a press release from the States this morning. They do one every morning. And there was something
Hmm.
they said that really concerned me quite a bit, which was they are seeing a disproportional amount of youth affected. So even though younger people will be healthier and survive this more, that a lot
Hmm.
more of them are getting it. And that really stressed me out when she first started talking about it. But then she went on, and it sounded like she was implying that they were fairly convinced that it was because young people were not being responsible and going out and contracting it more. They felt like they were invulnerable.
Hmm.
Um, but at this point, I kind of wonder because I've really been worried about this sort of two-stage thing. Like you obviously have heard about these 4 stages or something. In my head, I've been thinking about a two-stage problem with this virus, where the flu is just a delivery mechanism, and then the real problem is what comes after.
Yeah, I mean, the stages, they were just like placed by the Health World Organization, so it's
Yeah,
something that they
that's
like.
an official thing. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
coming up
those
with
are
my own
like
terms. Yeah,
official.
yeah,
Hmm. But it's just like just to know in which state the country is, right? So if they're
right.
like in stage one, they're fine because they can actually like control it if it's only like the primary patient. Then on the second stage will be the secondary one, which is like the ones that have been like closer to the primary one and they have been contagious. They're being they're be passing the virus, and on the third one will be like a community one when you don't you don't need the primary or the secondary because you have people that are asymptomatic and will be going around spreading the virus.
And you said the fourth stage is when it overwhelms the health system.
Exactly.
Oh,
When you have enough cases that you are collapsing the health system. Exactly. So that's when you need to start worrying about because you know that in certain cases if you are unhealthy or if you have the virus, it depends on the age that you're in to be taken care of or be sent home. And that's the problem. For instance, um, let's say a vulnerable, um, let's say, population will be the elder. But if there are elder people that had like their immune system low and they will have, I don't know, like heart failure or diabetes or whichever of these also like problems, health problems, are they going to take care of them instead of having, I mean, instead of taking care of healthy elder people that
right.
they know that they can try, they can, um, let's say, take care of?
That's a hell of a
Because
decision.
exactly, but you need to make that decision because you have already your health system collapsed. So you'll need to decide. You need to make a decision. Are you going to spend medicine on people that are going to die? I mean, if you ask me, I would say I wouldn't be able to make that decision. But that decision will have to be made, for instance, in Italy already, because they're
Right.
already in that stage that they have to make a decision. I mean, it'll be really hard. I also heard the news that they are leaving vets in churches. They're leaving people that are already dead in churches and in
What?
the cemeteries. Yes, they're leaving it like that because they don't have any more space. They cannot bury their own people and they don't know where
Where
to
is this
have
happening?
in Italy.
Wow.
So it's already that bad. It's already that bad. So that's why. Italy is a you can search for the news in Italy. We are receiving news every day, and
Yeah,
it's terrible.
I haven't been keeping up with Italy specifically. I've been focusing more on the States because I think that fundamentally that's where Canada is going to be. Is
Yes, exactly. They already closed the borders with you guys.
That's
I
right. Yeah,
think
yeah,
they already closed the borders.
yeah. But the thing is like I've talked to you about this before. I think in the state, in the time of a real emergency, it's going to be the states coming down and protecting us and saving us. So that's why I'm so keyed into how things are going for them right now. Because they have no excess resources. They're not going to be coming and helping us, and whatever has used up all their resources is about to happen to Canada.
Yeah.
But that's really scary because that reminds me of plagues, where it's like bring out your dead, you throw them on the wagon.
Exactly. What can you do at that moment? Nothing.
Yeah.
You see, look, this is one. This is from the CNN. It says Italian doctors hope for a sign for a sign the coronavirus lockdown is working because there is no plan B. So, I mean, this is really bad.
Do you ever watch that movie Night of the Living Dead?
I guess so. I guess I have seen it.
It was.
Because I love the zombies movie.
Oh, okay. Well, it was a zombie movie that came out in like I think 82 or something, and it was sort of a bit of a parody. It was very silly in a lot of ways, and the whole plot that is they end up coming up against this zombie or this few zombies or something, and they are trying to deal with them, and in dealing with them, they end up spreading it everywhere. And right at the beginning of the film, the guy's like, "We got to call in the army." He's like, "No, you can't call in the army. You know what the army's going to do? They're going to just nuke everything." And that's how the movie ends up ending.
Nuking everyone.
Yeah. They finally do manage to call the army, and that's like the great victory at the end of the film, right? And then, of course, the army just nukes them.
Yeah, or they tend to like put them on fire. They create a lot of fire around them. Yeah. Yes. I have seen a couple of bad zombie movies that came in that time. I still remember that.
I used to just try to see as many zombie movies as I could. Probably about 15 years ago. I don't know what my fascination was with them, but I did try to watch a lot, and there are so many college level sort of B movie zombie movies that are made. I think because they use the special effects for the gore, people like that so much. But
yeah,
it's just there's just so many of them. It's really quite impressive how many of those kinds of movies have been made. You can't watch them all; you'd be dead.
Yeah, but they're good. I mean, in the end, they're not as good, but it's good if you like that topic.
Well, some of them are good. I judge them film by film, but yeah, I do enjoy the zombie theme. I think part of it is just this survivalist idea where you have to survive against this building and growing enemy and find solutions for that. It's an interesting thought.
The last set of movies weren't that bad. The one that was with Brad Pitt wasn't that bad.
World War Z, I still haven't seen that one.
Yes. Well, I recommend you to see it, but you have to see it with a grain of salt because it's maybe too, I don't know, the way that it's been spread and the way that the virus behaves, it doesn't seem to be real, obviously. So
okay, sure. Yep.
Yes, just like that.
Think of it more like an action movie than a sci-fi movie.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And it makes you feel desperate, just in case. I mean, if you really like zombie movies, you'll feel desperate because I don't know if you like the Resident Evil.
They're okay. They're okay.
Series and also the games.
I haven't ever played the games.
Well, I think there is one that behaves just like World War Z, but it's just like I don't want to like to spoil the movie, so you will have to watch it. But it's not
All right.
it's not exactly how a zombie movie should be. You know.
If we ever
It's-
watch that From Beyond, there's another film made by I think the same director. Uh,
okay.
if you enjoy that one with me, we can watch Reanimator, which is another one I haven't seen, and that's where it's basically a Frankenstein story where the guy comes up with this way to resurrect the dead, but they come back as zombies.
Okay. Okay, I'm writing them down because I
Okay.
haven't tried to download the first one. I need to like
Oh,
try
From
to get
Beyond,
it.
yeah, From Beyond.
Yes.
We could find it right now. Actually, I bet From Beyond.
But the thing is that I don't think we're going to find it like in YouTube. So
No, not on YouTube, but let's see here. Yeah, the trailers everywhere.
Well, at least the movie is not where I usually download my movies. So
Well, it's an
let me
older
see.
film.
Yeah, but you know that they tend out here. Oh, but it says that it's in Spanish. Well, they haven't. Oh, okay. Okay, they have it. They have it here, I think.
Okay.
Let me check.
Yeah, I found it this Tubi TV maybe.
I don't know if it's.
Oh,
I don't know if it's okay if I should like pass this. Maybe I can do it like in a private chat.
Sure, you could do it that. Yeah.
Like that. That's the link that I found, but it's not like the link is not working. It says From Beyond Resonator, 1986.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know what that resonator means, but it's working for me. Do you want to watch this tonight?
Well, I don't think tonight, but we'll have to like set up because if we watch it tonight, we'll be taking us until maybe 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in the morning. And I'll still have to work tomorrow. So, but I still will have the link, which is good. So let me pause it and let me get the link.
Okay, that's great.
Bring it here.
I look forward to watching that with you. It's I'm excited.
Sure. I think we can watch it. We can set up a day to watch it because we still have like we're going to be in quarantine, so it's going to be fine.
That's right. I'm not going anywhere, and
I'm not going to.
I'm going to make a point to do less work than usual. Actually, I'm going to take it really easy, even though I'm stuck inside. So I'll have lots of free time.
Yeah, and maybe we can do that like maybe in parts. Maybe we can do like part of it in like in the morning or like around the day just to watch it because it's going to take us a little while. It's like 1 hour and a half. 1 hour and 25 minutes. Maybe in this place we can also find the other one that you were mentioning.
I would be surprised, yeah, because I'm pretty sure they're the same director, and I think they might have some of the same actors and things. I think it's kind of the same style. So you'll know once we start watching this film if you want to watch the whole thing or not. And if you do want to watch the whole thing and you find you enjoy it, then I think that you'll want to watch the other one too. And I've been looking for somebody to watch these with. I think they'll be very entertaining. They're kind of like gross in some spots, though.
I'll be like, no, I don't want to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple clips that I've seen that I'm like, ew.
Wow. It's still like for that time being like really eager and not being able to watch it.
Well, no, you could watch it. And if you look at it from a movie making perspective, it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of funny actually, like the gags and stuff where you've got somebody's head. Well, that's for Reanimator. There's one scene where they've got a guy's head that's supposed to be cut off and he's talking, right?
Okay.
And so the different ways that they do that, the different shots are really interesting. And that's something I'm interested in. I've never been involved with making movies, but I would like to learn how to write scripts. And that's why I find figuring out how do they do stuff like this very interesting.
Okay. I think I found it in YouTube, by the way. Let me send you. Let me send you. I think it's this one. Just check it out, just in case. I don't know. I haven't pressed play, so. Oh yeah, it's working. I don't know if it's in English or in Spanish. Let me hear it.
No, it's Spanish.
Ah, sorry. That's the thing that when I'm searching for a movie, it just I think automatically puts like it's in Spanish.
But you know what? That might be interesting for me as well. If you want to watch that in Spanish,
Sure.
yeah, because I would find it really interesting to be trying to follow along and trying to understand what's going on from the film, because I know just like a couple words of Spanish, right? And so I might be able to pick up a little bit, but just learning it
But
from watching it is very interesting to me.
Yeah, but the thing is that you will need to have at least subtitles.
I don't think so. No. With a film like this, for instance, Shakespeare, if someone's English is not good, often they cannot understand much of what Shakespeare is saying or the sort of word playing that he does, but they can usually still enjoy a comedy because there's a lot of physical action and humor and things. And I think I generally know the premise of this film, so even if I don't know the words exactly, I think I'll still be able to enjoy it. So if you're not interested in doing that, we don't have to, but that's the second
No, I
movie.
mean it's fine. I mean it's fine, but it's because it's in my language. I mean it's my normal language. It will be for you a little bit difficult.
Who else am I going to get to watch a Spanish film with? No one else is going to want to watch a film with no subtitles in Spanish.
Exactly. I don't think anyone like in English, like the one that really wants to learn, maybe, but
I
they
am
still need to
interested.
have.
Yeah.
But really, you need to like have the subtitles to be able to like to understand. But anyways, we can try it. By the way.
Like,
Yes, already saved
I
it.
watched Seven Samurai, and I know a little bit of. I know probably more Japanese than I do Spanish, but I'm not. I can't communicate. I can't really understand Japanese, so I'm not trying to promote myself as being bilingual or something. But I watched Seven Samurai without any subtitles, and I really enjoyed that. I plan to go back and watch it again with the subtitles, but it was a very interesting experience to watch a foreign film and to not understand many of the words, but to kind of get an idea.
Okay. Yes, but I think Japanese is a little bit more difficult than Spanish, I guess.
Well, it's not a Romance language, so it's very foreign. Yeah. And I'm just not, what's the word? Immersed in it. I really would like to, I can't afford to, but I'd really like to go to Japan for a couple of years and just live in a rural area and be immersed in the language. And I think that would be a very good way to learn it.
Yeah, that will be like the only way to learn it. If you're not going to learn it like in here, like in online or going to.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. I have learned a bit of it, and I know things like grammar and stuff, but it's more of a party trick than being able to communicate in the language.
Yes, exactly. But that's the good thing. Like if you want to learn it, then it will be easier for you to understand it and try to get it, like to catch it.
Yep. I really like. Did you watch Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul?
No, I haven't. I haven't watched Breaking Bad.
I think Better Call Saul is a much better series than Breaking Bad and much more interesting. But there's characters that are from, I think originally from Chile, and so they speak Spanish in many of the scenes. And I really enjoy it, and sometimes I'm watching sort of a downloaded copy of one of these things, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
get the subtitles, so I just have to know from the experience. And that might be my favorite part of those shows, is just trying to pick it up as they're speaking this beautiful language to each other very naturally. Uh, it's kind of like being in a room with these people a little bit more, because it's not my language. They're not speaking for my sake.
Yes, exactly. And it depends how they were speaking, right? Because they can be using the slang, and that's why it just came so naturally to them.
Sure, yeah.
Hmm. Yes, yes, that's the thing. I think. Okay, I already have the links, both links. I was just like checking on the like a previous, well, like just some images from the Reanimator. I think this will
Yeah.
be like a good movie. It will be fun to
Good,
watch.
good. Excellent.
It will be fun to watch. Let me.
I really do think, based on either one of them, after you've watched it for 20 minutes, you'll know if you want to watch the rest or not.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it has to be like really boring movie. For instance, I don't know if you watch. There was one of this new Superman. I think it's Superman versus Batman. The movie. I think was that one.
Okay. I didn't
That was
find I didn't
that was really boring.
Oh, okay. I didn't find that one as boring as the Superman film that came before it. I remember I went to the
Yeah.
Superman film, and I literally was looking at my watch waiting for the movie to be over. Like, and it was like halfway over when I started looking at my watch. I was so bored.
Well, for me, if you have like the nachos and the cheese and the popcorn, I think I'll be fine. But the
That's a
thing is
wonderful.
the Superman versus Batman, I think it was like 2 hours, or yeah, 2 hours long. I think that was like really long, and I went for the premiere, so it was like around 1 a.m. in the morning or 2 a.m. in the morning. I was just like falling asleep.
Yeah, that's brutal. I really respect short films. Like, in the past, in the 70s and the 80s, in my opinion, you would only have a long film if it were a really epic story. And an epic story fits a long film because you feel like you're going along a journey. And it would usually be like someone's life or something like that, right?
Exactly.
And now they just put so many things in these films, and I really like short stories. There's something beautiful about a short story.
It's because it is on your imagination, so not everything is not being told in the movie. So you
Yeah,
have to like think about it, or you will have to assume that it's like that, right? But now everything has to be told, like everything has to be said in the movie for you to get it. Which
yeah,
is
exactly. They used to be so much more elliptical, where they would just put something on the screen, and you would need to figure out what was going on.
exactly, and that's the beauty of watching something or watching story, just to have that, and then just to make your brain to think, and then to say, hey, so that's how it happened.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Lawrence of Arabia?
No.
Oh, okay. It's an older film. In fact, they did a colorized version of it in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they colorized the version of it. I guess they didn't redo it, but they just colorized it. And it's got I think Tim Toole, or what's that guy's name?
Lord of Arabia.
Lawrence Arabia.
What's the name of the movie again?
It's
Lord.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Lawrence of Arabia. Okay.
And it had Peter O'Toole. That's the guy's name. Peter O'Toole was Lawrence. This is about a guy that was an English army officer in the First World War, and he went into the desert to try to unite these Arab tribes to work with the British against the Turks.
Okay.
And it's more of a story about this really famous guy, and it's not the sort of war hero story where a guy goes out and does really brave things and then comes back and he's a hero and everybody loves him. It's kind of a story about what can often happen to a person in war. And it was made in a time where there's a lot of scenes where there might be nothing said for a minute, but there's a lot going on the screen. And there's like, just to, without ruining anything, there's he has a blade, and there's 2 points in the film where once he first gets the blade and he's really excited and he looks at it and he uses it like a mirror, like it's a little dagger. And then there's another scene later in the film where he ends up doing that again, and he's got a different reaction to himself. And there's no one ever says anything about it. There's no other character that says, "Oh, you've come a long way," or that, you know, you've changed a lot, or something like that, or, "Oh, you're looking at yourself differently," or something. You know, no one has to say anything, and then they move on. You know, you don't need it explained to you.
Yes, it's just like an implicit, let's say, notion of what's going on in the movie, which is a good thing. It's what you can take from the movie, or from what you're watching, right? Which is great. It's like a 1962 movie.
Yeah, and it's super long. I think that one would be hard to watch together, but it is wonderful. It may be my favorite film.
Well, it's a really old one. That's why I have never heard of it.
Some old films don't stand up. Some old films, the reason why they were really famous in their time or considered classics, they just, those aren't good things anymore. But
yeah, I don't know if that will be like a good one to like to remake.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But Lawrence of Arabia is one that should never be remade. It's a perfect film. You can't make that better. It's wonderful, and it's still wonderful. It is still.
Let's hope they don't make it again.
Yeah, that's the thing, is they probably will, but it is a little bit of a oh no, the way that they would remake it would be terrible, because they'll be interacting with all these Arab tribes and things like that. And Lawrence of Arabia was done in a way that was a really beautiful interaction with that idea, in that Lawrence's character was just totally in love with these people and with their way of life. And yet, in many ways, the way these people were portrayed were kind of small and like brutish a little bit. It wasn't something to be necessarily valued. And so the fact that he had so much value for them had that special twinkle to it, in that he saw what was valuable in these people. And that's just not a story that I think would be allowed to be told anymore.
Well, not anymore, but they will try if they think that they will. I mean, you are getting out of ideas of creating movies, right? And they're just coming back and getting all of these old movies and trying to get it as a remake. So let's hope, because I haven't heard of this.
I think Lawrence of Arabia is too old for them to do that with. The reason why they do that, I think, is not because they're out of ideas, but because they build these franchises which are safe investments. Because the more that you have coming out for a particular brand name, the more exposure it gets and the more relevant it becomes, and that helps sell your brand. And so I don't think that they really don't have an idea for a new kind of Spider-Man. I think the reason why they keep on releasing Spider-Mans is because that's an investment into the sales and promotion of their product, Spider-Man.
Yeah, but the name, it's by the name itself, because you need to follow Spider-Man, right? It comes from a franchise, is what you said.
Right, yeah. And I think that's the safe investment. And I think that's why they don't do new ideas. Like if they had like, I don't know, just come up with some new superhero that no one had ever heard of, especially if it didn't come from Marvel or DC, it would be a very hard sell. It would be risky, and it could do really well. But it doesn't seem like the big production companies want to take those risks anymore.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, it seems like they don't have any ideas, but it will be like a good, fresh, something that it's different as a movie, you know. just not to have like the same story remake all over again, or trying to see what they can do in with this character or not.
Yeah, I really like low budget films that are made by people that obviously like to work for a living, because they're often so creative. There's often so many Sometimes they don't come together the best, but there's some idea or some interaction that just works really well.
Yeah, yes, exactly. But that's the thing, that you don't tend to see them like in the big screen. You tend to like go to a small theater, and then you'll have those short films, or like a non, like, it's not a non, is when you don't know this movie, or you don't know the producer or the director, and you won't see it in the big screen. You have to like search around
Right.
town to see if you can watch it,
Yeah.
or in this case, if you can download it, or if you can like check it on Netflix, because it's not going to be well spread it, because no one is going to know about it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just like we're just going to give the biggest announcements to the best movies, but they're just because they already, I don't know.
Yeah, they totally saturate the commercial market too.
Exactly, they're
all you
commercial.
hear-
That's the word. They're commercial, and because the short films are not commercial, that's why they're not out. And that's the thing.
It is nice that groups like Netflix seem to be supporting these smaller companies, and they seem to be allowing these risks to be happening.
Yeah, that's a good approach. Not everyone has it at the moment, but it's a good approach. I don't think they have it. I don't think they have it all. And I think they are limiting the amount of short films per country, or the amount of films that you are given per country or per continent, because it's not the same amount of movies that you will have in Canada
Yeah,
that I will have here,
I have to
and vice
say,
versa.
the apartment that I live in, as far as I know, I get free Netflix, but I've
Mhm.
never used it because I hate Netflix. It really bothers me that they do things like that, and I realize they do it because they make agreements with these companies, and they can pay less if they say we're going to just have it in this one country rather than having it in the entire world. And it also kind of ticks me off because I know that most people would just use like a virtual a VPN in
Mhm.
order to change which country they're in, and then they just use whatever is in the world. But that really bugs me that you have to sort of cheat in order
To
watch
check
all.
on a movie,
Yeah.
right? Maybe you can select, like, for every month you can select a different country, or
Yeah,
different set
that would be a
of.
cool thing.
Exactly. I don't think that will be like bad for you to check on different short films. You're even like promoting that movie, because you're going to say, "Hey, I watched this and I really liked it, and I really like it. Maybe you're going to like it too."
Right.
And you will promote this unknown person or director. Next time they will have it on site, and people will start watching the movie without having it just in Netflix and just being like there, like in a bunch with a bunch of movies, and that's it. I don't
I
know.
think that's a really good idea. Yeah, I think that would work well.
Yeah, but that's how it's not working at the moment. That's how it is. That's bad. Okay, Nicholas, I think we're almost at midnight, so I think we should just like call it for today.
Sounds good.
No one, yeah, no one came in. I think that everyone is just like worrying about their own stuff, or what's going on
I
in
would
the
have
world.
expected more people to drop by. I would have thought a lot of people would be looking for something to do tonight.
Yes, yes, I was just thinking that as well. I mean, I will have dropped by like in a couple of days ago, but I was just like watching games and like game streams, and I was just like falling asleep. So I was just like, I'm just going to let everything just to unveil, at least here in my country, that I'm just going to go live and see what was going on. But yeah, it seems like everyone's just like taking care of their own business. Hopefully everyone is fine.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be.
Okay. Okay, then let's just cut it here, and then we can talk a little bit like after this. Okay.
Sounds good. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
Okay. Yes, if someone is going to watch this live, thanks for watching.